So it is very simple. Man needs to value intelligence and natural grace with the heart as the seat of intelligence, above intellect. Egypt and Biafra proves this definitively. In a Western setting where people have bred in the culture, culture is more important than race. Race doesn't exist according to scientists. People have bred in a culture of thinking slow and sitting down and cultivating ideas in the Western tradition, which gives white people and Asians and people and Jews, people who are closely related to them in culture and in genetics, the upper hand. The Biafrans come here and outperform everyone when it comes to education. Obviously, they don't have the same network and privileged social clubs to become as financially successful and famous as other groups of people, but they are the most educated group of people. It is their culture. The African Americans have a lot of Igbo genes, but they have a Western culture, which was placed there for them and was forced upon them by the white bourgeoisie and upper classes. This is very clear and very key. So the Egyptian black martial artists gave us civilization, their spirit warrior techniques. And man went a depraved, sexually immoral, and evil way from there. The African first son, Man Obi, Igbo, Ikenga, the righteous African martial artists, whose the Bible is really based on, gave us the most sophisticated spiritual people, the Igbos. This is why they can't beat me in martial arts. And I am not African American in the traditional sense. My dad came here from Nigeria, from Biafra. My mom is white. I have an emphasis on reconnecting to Igbo, Christian Ikengara spirit warrior activities or martial arts. And as such, they can't present a more compelling argument. They can't beat me at sparring. And logically, I think a child would be able to tell you that I'm closer to God than they are. I am superior, mind, body, and soul, and spirit. They dance to the devil's tune. I walk with the Lord. The difference between me and everyone else put together is great. Not because people don't have a certain natural potential. It's because they will never reach their potential or come close to it because of, ironically, trying to reach their full potential in the occult Western tradition. We have a lot of skilled workers from Northern Europe who are into the occult, right? Masonry started in England. You have the Vikings, skilled ship makers, and so on, right? Maritime admiralty law, the pirates, the rule of the high seas, piratism, a lot of pirates were knighted. So you have pirate activities under the guise of civility. A bunch of dirty pirates sailing around doing despicable things, smelling bad, raping women, saying that they're civilized as they extort and amass wealth. It's the same thing we saw with the stealing of Egyptian traditions and empires and peoples, etc. So to make a long story short, the pursuit of knowledge is not the same as the pursuit of virtue. Even Socrates, a homosexual philosopher that they looked up to, who pales in comparison to African martial artists, knew that. Very straightforward, very obvious, very powerful foundation. The pursuit of virtue is greater than the pursuit of knowledge, which is greater than the pursuit of wealth. It's kind of like, well, no shit. Well, how do you pursue virtue? You cultivate mind, body, and soul. You have to coordinate the mind, body, and soul. So if you are a tall martial artist, you're coordinating these things like no one else. If you're short, you're trying to do flips and all this stuff, but it's not the same. You can't out-coordinate me. I will move quicker than anyone on the planet, and I will strike you surgically, definitively. The surgeon, meaning the leopard, okay? And they want to bring about a light angel cultivation. Lucifer likes to parade as an angel of light. So under the guise of being a light angel, they will try to replace me, which is ill-gotten gains. They believe you can use technology and mimic these African heroes, really, which is the best term for them, and replace them and, you know, everything's going to be hunky-dory. Versus you need the true natural cultivation. You know, you reap what you sow. Africans have sown their seed, harvest after harvest, generation after generation. We see the fruit of their labors. We see the form of their spiritual cultivation. The Westerners we have around, with all due respect, tend to be people who conform to Western culture more than anyone. And Western culture is a pirate culture. It's Attila the Hun. It's Vikings and so on. And once you come together in a fascist movement with a criminal ruling class, it doesn't take a genius to see you've taken any good parts of Western culture and you've thoroughly poisoned it with a viper's venom. So therefore, now that you accept your culture, it is a kind of Hellenistic mix, right? And it's not a coincidence. It's called Hellenistic. Hellenize. And that is what gave us Serapis, who was based on Apis. Osiris, Apis, and Hades. To bully people because you're not content inside. Why do gang members bully people? You have the money, you have the women, you have the nice clothes. Why are you pushing people around unnecessarily? Why are rich, cocky people saying dumb shit? Why do you get sneered at by socially normative, groupie, cliquish bitches? Because they have taken on a bully mentality and bully tactics to make themselves feel better. The army, right? Armor, the strong arm of Mont, one of the first bull deities of Egypt. Okay, so this is the difference between metabolism, which means less fat cells as a result of a spirited culture, versus people who kind of calm down, which includes a lot of Muslims. You know, salam, I'm going to do my carpentry, I'm going to do this. This is a calm activity versus getting into the spirit and staying high-strung. High-strung. Hamstrings. The strings on a musical instrument, on a harp, on a guitar. Okay? The Most High. You see the connection? The devil's tune versus being in tune with nature. The devil's unnatural, pederastry, Hellenized tomb, imitating Greek societies in their roofies, their Mickeys, and Min, the god of chemistry to give you date rape drugs, to rape people, mind, body, and soul, versus to spiritually shed light, to cast light. And casting light on society casts out the scum in more than one way, which goes back to reproducing. People have been reproducing in a Viking direction, for example, and they want to turn around and get you to value their Viking characteristics. Oh, let's not focus on morality. Let's focus on being a skilled worker, which has trickery and tricks of the trade, and cunning, and carnal desires, and the knaveries of the stockroom, and the stock market, and the, and the money changers, and the money lenders, right? Just absolute nonsense, garbage, intelligence community, insider trading, rapist, fucking scumbags. These are people that literally rape people with impunity, and then accuse black people of doing the same and set them up to do the same, and then throw the book at them so they can give themselves a PR lift. Presentation bitches. Knowledge and presentation bitch shit go hand in hand. You have to be in the know and keep people stupid to make yourself look better than them. So how can you turn around and say we need to value knowledge? Sapeo said, shut the fuck up. The fuck up. Knowledge is nonsense without wisdom. You could have a whole empire full of food. If you don't have the wisdom to distribute it correctly in a way that's consistent with righteousness, you're a fucking idiot, sending us all to hell through a Hellenized coward's perspective. They keep using unnatural technology to usurp the type of people that created man naturally in a godlike image with nature's permission, shown by their harmony with nature and their appreciation of nature. Asians have not transcended either. They do not pay homage to African martial artists. Why not? Oh, because you're selfish and you're focused on bringing up your people and not truly transcending. How are you transcending if there's an emphasis on bringing up your people and getting people to do it your people's way and not looking for the truth in its pure form? You're not transcending. You're worldly. and you think about returning to this world instead of truly returning to the sun. The world is pulling your body, you're worldly, you're not letting your spirit rise in the light temple tradition. Beginning figure, generally speaking, think about a beginning figure, a forged figure, weapons, characteristics of metal, construction workers, dancers, athletes, doctors. So many people know that I'm right from so many different reasons. It's despicable. Now, the harlequin is another interesting word. It's related to harlot, which also means rogue. Obi-Wan Kenobi, right, versus the new Star Wars series where they say Rogue One. Obi-Wan versus Rogue One. There's no Obi-Wan, right, in the new movies. I haven't seen the Last Jedi, but there's Rogue One. The harlot one. Now we see this female emphasis, and women use their pussy power to become successful. They're not great martial artists in the force becoming successful. With all due respect, come on, live in reality. Stop being selfish. Stop trying to promote your single group above God's will, nature, and what's best for everyone. So then there are fixed curriculums with secret tricks to learning. Think about math tricks and Masons who talk about sacred math and deal in trickery and treachery and illusion, right? Of course, they're doing little secret society, skull and bones, pirate bitch shit to put their race and their groups above other people. Think about chess, math competitions, and spelling bees. These reflect intellect and tricks of the trade type bitch shit more than true natural intelligence, which has to do with thinking fast, Godspeed, light speed, fasting. Natural components of intellect and educational cultivation versus martial arts sparring, the highest form of refined natural intelligence directed into mental sparring, mind, body, soul sparring, spirit sparring. Okay, Protestant Nordic work ethic, skilled workers, right? From the north, we went into this. Mediterranean people think differently than they do. They were at odds with them. Eventually, the Northern Europeans forced their way on everyone else. The Jews migrated up there to control the money. France gave a Statue of Liberty, Council of Nicaea, Jacques de Molay, the Templars, the body is the temple, Romance, Greco-Romans, we're talking about, the English Empire, the sun never set on the English Empire, the Germans, the Illuminati, World War II, and so on. Kaiser Hospital, eugenics, and so on. Colonialism, global society, civilization, certain types of people they favor, okay? Intellection in relation to craft and skilled workers, craftiness, cunning, tricks of the trade, snaking people, the brotherhood of the snake, and so on. Even Jordan Maxwell says being a snake is a compliment, right? Jordan Maxwell. What's this guy's name? Something Mars. I forgot this guy. He's another conspiracy theorist. His name's Mars. Mars, the god of war. Aries, the ram. Eri for the people of Eri, the Igbos. Okay. So they're redefining what it means to be a spirit warrior, what it means to have mind, body, and soul in a way that is detestable to the principal design, the obverse, obi-verse, obi-essence, obey, and observe, obi-serve, and so on. Okay, so Jacob's airy ladder, a way to get to heaven, versus the illusion of the way which Masons deal with in it, mass in. And of course, I've overkilled my point a million times over. And ask yourself why nobody's standing with me. It's for the same reason that, you have to have that awareness, right? I went over the steps that are needed, right? You have to be smart enough to know that you should train African martial arts in the first place, which, I eventually got there through training Asian martial arts as a teen, Afro-Asiatic, going an African natural direction versus a scientific European direction like American Taekwondo, American Karate, and so on. Okay, so you have to know to go in that direction. You have to